Ready. Why? All right, let's see. We're going to do the new intro. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the Blurring the Lines podcast. This is episode number 246, and I am your host. Your name? No, I am Adam Bell. Joining me, as always, is my co-host. His name is Peter Nikolaidis. How you doing, Peter?
Good, but I thought your name was supposed to be my name.
Well, your name, his name. Yeah.
We're going real Abbott and Costello real quick, aren't we?
Who's on first?
Yeah, exactly. So, happy Friday, Adam.
Yes, sir. It's a good day. It's nice and warm here. It is a little muggy, but it's warm.
Okay, it's in the 40s here, so relatively speaking, I think that's warm. I don't know.
Yeah, let's see. We're at 69.
All right. 69, dude.
Yeah. Somewhere between 68 and 70.
Yep. Well, there you go. Cool, man. Well, what's going on? What's new with you besides beautiful, balmy Tennessee weather?
Balmy Tennessee weather. Nothing is new. I mean, nothing really new. We rolled the new year, and of course, Monday was the first gym day after New Year's. As far as like all the classes and everything are back up. So, I have a chat or a text channel with the coach of the class and some other guys. And I said, well, I expect we'll have 49 people in class on Monday. It didn't disappoint. It was completely full. I mean, like we were way over capacity.
But how long does that stay? Like what's the taper rate?
The taper rate, mid-January. So
just a couple weeks.
Yeah, just a couple weeks. It's not, and it's, I mean, because I go to the 5 a.m. class. So a lot of the people that come to 5 a.m. are the same people that come to 5 a.m. because they're going to 5 a.m. for a very specific purpose. They're not, work or life or whatever requires them to go there at that point, myself included.
Okay.
So they're pretty consistent. So a lot of like this year, I am, resolved to go more often. So Mondays are always the biggest day at the gym too.
All right. Well, get it out of the way early, right?
They start strong on Wednesday or on Monday.
Start strong. Keep going. Stay strong. Stay hard.
So if you really want to, I have, gone to where in January, I'm like, well, I'm just not doing Monday. I'll do Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Because if I'm going to do a 3-day week cadence, then I'll just do Tuesday because a lot less people come on Tuesday than Monday.
Fair enough.
So, but it's still a big class. I've been to other CrossFit gyms, and ours is a pretty large size class.
Well, I'm still working with my one-on-one sessions with my personal trainer. They do have a couple of small group classes, but I've observed a couple because they've had a couple going on when I've been there and stuff. But, I don't know. I think I get probably, I don't know if it's the biggest, but a big benefit I get of having the personal trainer is just the accountability. Like I've got an appointment and I've paid for it, so I'm not just gonna not show up or slack off or something like that. Whereas like if I'm doing my home routine, something came up, it's easier to let that slide. So
yeah, it also hurts too when you're paying extra for that and you don't want to waste your money.
Yep. So there you go.
Well, where do you do your private lessons? You said
there's a gym just about half a mile from my place.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it's a small, it's not like a Planet Fitness, Crunch Fitness kind of thing. It's a small, gym geared around personal trainers.
Okay. So it's not Globo Gym.
No, it's not Globo Gym. It's Fit in New England. Free plug for you guys there. Fine.
Nice. Cool.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, starting off to get good year. I mean, like I said, It's nice in January for this time of year, so it'll be freezing next week, I'm sure.
Well, we can hope, because that is kind of what it's supposed to be like in January.
Yeah. Yeah, I know one of the guys at the gym, he's talking about, well, I really want to go to Colorado snowboarding, but there's no snow.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, that's a
That's
bummer.
a good. Yeah, there's still plenty of people out there who are denying it. And yeah, well, I guess, if your head is that far up your ass, then maybe you can't really tell what's going on around you. So there you go. So what else do we have going on? I got a lot of topics for today, but let's see what you had first.
Yeah, I guess we'll hit these first because they're kind of technical. So I mean, I don't know about you, but so 2008 when I started Sublime, I went completely Google Drive everything because I wanted all my stuff. I wanted all my team to be having their documents in the clouds. I wanted them centralized for a decentralized team. And so I've been doing that. And it used to be that the application was more feature rich than the online. I mean, it didn't, the online just didn't have all the features that you got on the desktop version. And there are like some things you couldn't do.
Yeah.
And while they're not 100% one-to-one, I've just gotten so used to what I do on online, and every Google, I mean, even the Microsoft suite. I mean, I use the Google suite for my stuff, and then the Microsoft suite for work. The Microsoft suite works for just about everything that I want to do: Excel, Word, and I don't have to deal with a local online or local offline. And to me, that almost seems clunky now. Because I've got a doc, or I've got a Word document down local, and then it's synchronizing. If OneDrive has sync issues,
OneDrive always has sync issues.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that we've finally gotten to the point where online documents, of course, Google's been saying that for years because they sell that platform, that completely online is very viable.
Yep.
And could easily replace the local offline app.
Yep. There have been a few times when I have been without internet access and wished that I had access to the stuff that I was trying to get to, but they're few and far between. So yeah.
I mean, I can't think of, well, I mean, I guess I could think of some scenarios, but most of the time, if I have data that I don't want to lose, I can paste it into a text document, and because it's not formatted, but it's got the data. It's got whatever I was doing or needing.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Exactly. So
there we go. Well, we definitely agree on that. So one of the things, I can't remember if we talked about it I think I brought it up on the podcast as a nifty. So Windows 365, that's Microsoft's virtual machine that is a flat rate, whatever you use on it. It's not a consumption-based model. So I've got their plans pulled up on the regular business. So a basic desktop that you can have on 24/7, use it whenever you want to use it. It's $31 per month. 2 CPU, 4 gig of RAM, 128 gig of storage. That's a pretty small virtual machine. But if there are Mac users that need Windows for very specific applications or work related and have to, it's a very viable replacement. Now I would go up to, the $41 a month, which is 2 CPU, 8 gig of RAM, and 128 gig of storage. And then the next step up is 4 CPU, 16 gig of RAM, 128 gig. But they also you can do slider bars for, like, if you want more RAM or you want more storage, you can add it in there for cost. And these, I mean, these have been around for a while.
Yeah.
But it's not been so easy for a user just a regular person to get a virtual desktop. Because even if you want to get an Azure virtual desktop, a regular person's going to stumble through it and probably pay too much money for whatever they purchased, or they're going to get the free version they're going to get some free VM that doesn't give them the processing power that they actually need, and are disappointed. So I don't know why it's taken companies so long to come up with a virtual offering that you can just buy. Here's my credit card, take my money, give me a virtual machine.
Well, I think one of the factors is probably enterprises usually want more control over them, so they'd rather run them in their own, their own environment. And I think that the number of end users, consumers looking for a virtual machine in the cloud is teeny, teeny, tiny. I mean, most people don't even understand the difference between having multiple web browsers, let alone multiple computers. So I can see why not. But that said, it's not really a hard problem, and it's not one that hasn't been solved. So yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah. I talk about this sometimes when Scott and I are chatting about it, because I have a copy of Parallels for my Mac. And I also have a free copy of VMware Fusion for the Mac. Parallels definitely seems to perform a little bit better. Plus, theoretically, if I had a problem, they would support it, unlike Broadcom, which doesn't seem to do jack for VMware anymore. But the other option is what? You buy a little Nook and, have a piece of hardware running the thing. But if it's something you're going to use once in a great while, because you need this obscure piece of Windows, or you're troubleshooting and you're trying to replicate what someone's seeing, it's that seems a little excessive, right? But that said, you can get an AMD Ryzen for $220 with 8 or 6. I don't even remember. I think it was 8 gigs of RAM and 500 gig SSD.
Yeah,
and Windows 11. So this is for that price, it's not bad having a dedicated piece of hardware sitting around and not chewing up all the space on my Mac. So.
Well, and for me, what I think about, why I think about VMs at all outside of work is I travel, and at home I have a Carbon Systems Nook, and I've got solid state drives in it, and I have virtual machines on that. I've got my file server, and then I have my QuickBooks workstation. So my QuickBooks workstation has QuickBooks and Quicken. So for my personal stuff, I want to hop into Quicken. So every once in a while, my computer goes offline for power. It's weird. It's not a power outage. It is when the power flickers. That's when my stuff goes offline. It just whatever the UPS equipment can't keep up with it, or I don't know what, but it goes into the offline state, and you got to have something online to do a wake on LAN to get that stuff to come back up. And it is a Nook. It would wake up if it could receive the magic packet, but something's got to be online on the LAN to send that packet. So I was like, well, while I'm traveling, if I'm out of town and I'm in week 1 of 3 weeks out of town, and my Quicken workstation is offline, then I don't have any way to wake it up. But if I had a cloud VM, then I could just do that.
Spin it back up.
But I am like you, I am frugal, and it's very rare that that Quicken PC is actually offline.
Yeah. I'm similar. So back on was it? I think it was on Prime. Yeah, Prime Day, not Black Friday. Prime Day. I bought 2 Generation 1 Mac Minis with the M1 processors, and they're decent, right? They're definitely showing their age, but for what I paid 200 some odd bucks, 199 or 220 or something for them.
Oh yeah,
for perfectly capable Mac, which is running right now. And when I spilled tea on my MacBook a month or so ago, it was really nice having a spare Mac sitting around here, for my personal stuff. The only thing it doesn't do well is like every now and then video calls get a little bit choppy compared to, which I was like, are they really that hard? Where this is an M1 processor, so it's like 4 or 5 years old. Are the demands of video calls that much higher now than they were 5 years ago? I don't know. So
yeah, I don't know.
But they work fine. And one of them I didn't at the time, but if I had enrolled it into Apple Care, I could even have it under warranty at this point.
Oh,
cool. So even though it was used. So the only time I have trouble with them is after a software update. They sit at the login prompt and I cannot reliably reconnect to them remotely.
Yeah.
So the one that's sitting here on my desktop in Medford is fine. The one that's 150 miles away in Vermont, not so fine.
Yeah. Well, and I also use Tailscale so that I can get to that desktop.
Yep.
Wherever, because I've got Tailscale on my iPad, and I just hit my iPad and I can go right to it, or my my laptop. But I used VMware, where their Fusion that was on the Mac? Yeah. And I used it on my Intel Mac from 2019. But when I got the new processor from my 2023 Mac, I couldn't use the same image anymore. And it was a whole process to make a virtual machine in Windows 11. And I gave up on it because it's like, well, it's not that important to me.
Was it that it was the wrong architecture? Was it like okay, so you had to change processors and stuff?
Yeah, because I couldn't pull the old one. It wasn't even an option. I couldn't pull the old virtual machine. I had to build a new one from scratch, and I had a really difficult time figuring out how to build it from scratch. So I just quit. I was like, I don't even really need it.
Yeah, it's good though when you come to the realization, like, you know what, this is just a waste of time. I don't, just walk away. It's amazing, like how many things I used to do that I just eventually one day walked away from, like oh goodness, I don't know, I could think of so many different versions, different instances, but maintaining my own music library. Because I used to spend so much time moving files back and forth and saving and indexing and then adding them to this and that, and then one day I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna give up on this. And I think I had a Spotify account first, then Amazon. I think I tried Amazon Prime Music first and then Spotify, and now Apple Music. I don't remember the last time I didn't find music I was looking for on Apple Music. It's extremely rare. So.
Where I have had trouble getting music on Apple Music, and it is soundtrack albums.
Interesting.
Like one of my favorite, favorite soundtrack albums is the original The Crow soundtrack from the 90s.
Yep.
And only like 2 songs are available from that album at Apple Music. And my wife, same with the Pretty in Pink soundtrack, she likes. You can get it, but it's missing a few songs.
I've definitely come across that, where there are some things missing from time to time, but I haven't really dug into that to see what's what is or isn't.
What's weird though is typically you can find the songs, like let's say it's 10 songs and they're by artists and they're mixed up, but you can usually find the individuals of those songs anyway. So I don't understand what is the copyright that prevents the soundtrack, which is the same song as you would just listen to. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, is that a bug or is that by design because of some stupid licensing issue?
Yeah, I'm sure that's it.
Yeah. Could be. We may never know.
So before we leave virtual machines altogether, now you have spent some time using Amazon's right? The workstations.
It's been a while, but I did, yes. Back when I was working at the hospital, that's what we would use before, because we didn't have the budget for a good sandboxing solution. So we just open up a throwaway VM on Amazon and browse to naughty websites and see what got caught or triggered or exploded.
But didn't you have some, like, for your own stuff where you had very tiny, like, Linux systems and, you know, kind of purpose-built systems that you fired up every once in a while? Maybe I'm misremembering.
No, those were generally servers that I would do that with. So anytime I didn't actually, the only time I used Amazon's virtual desktop solution was just at the hospital. And it was I don't remember a lot about it. It was kind of a pain because it was like semi-persistent. It was kind of like a shared instance and stuff. It's fuzzy. I mean, we're talking like 7 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
A little bit fuzzy. But I maintain, still today, even for my personal use, I have a handful of like Linux VMs up in AWS that I might spin up for whatever, I'm fiddling with.
And you pay a minimum fee to keep them alive, and then usage fee.
Nope. So with AWS, if you shut them down, if you stop an instance, you're not charged for it. The only thing you're charged for is if you have extra storage attached to it. So if you go with like a regular image or whatever, and you power it down, as long as it's powered down, you're not getting billed.
Maybe I need to do that for my Quicken computer.
Yeah, as long as you can run it on a Windows Server operating system.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So then you just fire it up when you need to. Maybe you give it 5 minutes or so for the server to boot, do what you got to do. And when you're done, just click shut down and it's gone.
Yep. Yeah. The other option, of course, I could always go with a cloud solution, the cloud version of it.
Yeah, I had QuickBooks. This is great. So I have not been a subscriber of Intuit QuickBooks Online for some time now. Although they did just email me and let me know that the annual price will be $810 a year this year. And then last year it was $700 some odd dollars. And I complained because I'm like, why are you charging me for this? I canceled this. They did eventually cancel and they fully refunded it. And yet the tenant is still running. I still get monthly reports from QuickBooks Online saying, here are all of your receivables. Here are all your overdue invoices. Here's all your profit and loss. Coincidentally, they're all $0.
Yeah.
But they're still running this thing. So I'm like, yeah, if that doesn't show you how completely useless a company Intuit has become, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Well, and I've also used Google, but Amazon and Google are both, to me, very complicated to get a virtual machine up and running.
So I haven't tried the Microsoft. Like I did something similar where I ran the an Azure virtual machine because I still pay. I probably maybe I don't need it anymore. I still subscribe to the Microsoft Action Pack because like I always had it. If I had extra licenses, I could use one for my family or something, and they throw a bunch of Azure cloud credits your way. And so I would take a look at that and say, hey, well, let me just spin up an Azure server or something. Maybe the stuff that I'm paying for AWS periodically, I don't need that. I worked so hard trying to get that all squared away and do a Windows virtual machine, but I had to tie it to my M365 tenant for Azure AD or Entra ID. And it was just a pain. I spent so much more time just trying to provision this stupid thing than it was worth in the end. So I don't know what it's like, with like the end user facing subscription that you might be describing versus spinning up a dedicated Windows box the way I did it, but I would not recommend trying it. It's if you're like a seasoned Azure professional and this stuff inside out, great, go do it. But man, it hurt.
Yeah. Well, and that's what Windows 365 does well, because I think I forget the URL. I think it's cloud.microsoft.com or cloud something.microsoft.com. And you go there and you enter in your 365 credentials, and it shows you if you only have one virtual machine, that's the one it's listed. If you have two, you can just click whichever one you have access to. But you in that cloud, you just click it and go, and it fires it right up. You don't have to do remote desktop. I mean, it's doing remote desktop protocol for you.
Mm-hmm.
All of it's there. You're not doing a VPN. You're going to a web page and logging into your machine. It's pretty slick.
All right, that is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and like you said, the way it should be, right? There's no reason that it shouldn't be easily provisioned like that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't take a ton of scripting to make that stuff happen. It takes me a ton to make it happen the first time, but you're freaking Microsoft. You have the resources to make this happen.
Yeah, I still don't understand why Amazon doesn't write a GUI for all of their stuff. I mean, where you get partially into a GUI, you create a bucket. I want to share some files with Peter. All right. Well, you wrote I went through the GUI, I made my bucket. Now you must script it to give permission to anybody to even be able to read a single file, which I don't know the scripting language.
I will say Amazon's AWS's documentation is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I am extremely happy anytime I need to do something in Amazon. Now it is voluminous. I mean, there's so much documentation out there, but in general, it's really well written. Unlike the utter crap that Microsoft puts out. Half of the time, Microsoft refers to documentation that doesn't exist. The other half of the time, it's out of date. So, and the other half, the third half of the time, it's convoluted and impossible to follow.
Yeah. They have made it a little bit better from it used to be. If you were trying to solve any Microsoft problems, you started off with one window and you had about 20 because it popped to a whole new window, a whole new site.
Yep.
And even like would try to make you log in again. I was like, I'm in a browser this is an Edge browser, completely authenticated. It should pass.
So have you, because this process hasn't changed in a long time. Have you used the Microsoft Action Pack or the Microsoft Partner Portal?
So I'm surprised that you're able to get it. Mine ended this year and I could not renew it.
I think they renamed it to something else. It's been discontinued and canceled on a number of occasions.
Mm-hmm.
So I generally, I'll drop it and take whatever the new one is and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like what, $400 a year or something?
Yeah, it was like $495.
Yeah. I mean, given that it includes Office, it includes some Windows licenses, it includes a server license. So, if I want to run that on my home box, and it includes a bunch of Azure credits and also a license for Visio, which every now and then I need to drag that out.
Mm-hmm.
Could I just buy it like once per month when I really need it? Yeah, but I'm kind of lazy. So, I just kind of keep it and whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, I this year I took I looked at the Action Pack and I looked at, because they're not doing like even software licensing anymore. It's pretty much all cloud licensing that they're offering when you get that. And I looked at the price of buying a home Microsoft 365 subscription for my family of 4 was like $140, and I could have 4 people and everybody could have 5 computers on it.
Yep.
And I was like, this is better than buying Action Pack, because I'm only getting Office for my family.
Yeah, and that's just it. If you're just doing Office, that it doesn't make any sense the way I'm doing it. So, but back to where I was going with that is that that the provisioning process and going in and find
every year,
you got to find the portal. Okay, we found it. Now you have to log in. Got to log in with the right site ID. And I remember back in the day, I thought at one point that it would be smart to make a different site. So we had Paradigm based in Bethel, Vermont, and then we had another site for my place down in Somerville, Massachusetts. And I'm still, every now and then I log in, I still see that problem shows up. And it's just, but I mean, it's just like, if there is a simple way to do something, Microsoft will make sure that that does not work. They will convolute the heck out of it. So, brother.
Yeah. All right. So now let's shift gears and talk about some nifty stuff.
Nifty. Let's talk about some nifties. So moving back to a fitness centric side, all of my everything I've got. Oh, well, also before nifty too, cold plunges. So right before and after Christmas, I did my first and second cold plunge. Did we talk about this yet?
We did.
Oh, it's already. Well, how come it wasn't checked off?
Well, the sauna wasn't checked off.
Okay, right. But I put cold plunges in. I was going to say, I thought we had talked about this, but anyway, I took my first and second ever cold plunges, and they were fun. And it would have been nice to have a sauna to get into after that, but I didn't have one where I was. Actually, that's not technically true. My aunt does have an infrared sauna up at her place, so technically I could have had one. But at my place down here outside of Boston, things are smaller. So I opted for a more economical sauna solution. Now, it doesn't get as hot as like a real sauna. I also don't need to like chop down trees to stoke this sauna.
Yeah.
And it's tiny. It's like the footprint of a phone booth, but it's shorter because when you sit in it, it doesn't need to be very tall.
So the one that I'm looking at in the link, that's the one you got?
Yep. And it runs on water. Now, some people have said that there's a danger of using these because they're spewing steam into the air. Well, my solution to that is I only use filtered water. So it's already, so it's coming out of my refrigerator, running through an NSF certified filter. And then you just pour it into this little boiler, which is, similar to like a tea kettle or a hot pot. And it just pumps as the water starts to boil, it pumps it in through a short hose into the sauna where it's got this little diffuser, and it just spews steam into the air. And so I usually hit the play button. By default, it runs for like 40 minutes. It usually needs about 10 minutes to warm up, and then you can sit in it for 20, 30 minutes and just sweat for a while. And I mean, for the value, I paid just around $100, $120 for it. Absolutely worth it.
Yeah. No, I don't enjoy a sauna. And I would certainly not pay for a home sauna, but I might pay for something like that.
Yeah, it's worth it. I mean, if I end up keeping my place in Vermont in a few years, I plan to convert one of the downstairs storage rooms into a sauna, and like make it a whole like spa area down there. So we shall see. But yeah, I mean, if you're interested, if you're sauna curious, and you don't necessarily want to, spend a ton of money on a sauna, this is a great way to, dip your feet in without a huge commitment.
Cool.
Yeah. No, hot.
Hot.
Yeah.
That's hot.
That's hot. Thank you, Paris Hilton. So where else were we? Let's see. So that was the first thing, the first nifty. I don't have a formal review for my Garmin 965. I'm starting to think I might not have one just because it's so similar to the 955, but I do plan on posting an update on my blog post, with what's new and better about it. But related to that, at listener and friend of the show, Scott Wilsey's suggestion, I purchased the Polar Verity Sense optical heart rate sensor.
Okay.
So it's a Bluetooth sensor, heart rate monitor. It is designed to be worn on the upper arm, which is where I prefer to wear my heart rate sensors. I've bought others that's, were generally made to be worn on the upper forearm or could be worn here, not chest strap. Those are different, right? And I understand. Apologies to Coach Shona from Coach Perry. Yes, I understand heart rate sensors, chest straps. The empirical evidence shows that they're more accurate. I get it. They don't work for me. I do not like them. They're uncomfortable. I hate them. I won't wear them. So but just moving it off the wrist and moving it up to the forearm makes it more accurate. Moving it up to the upper arm makes it more accurate. And for me, these are great. So this one costs like twice as much as the cheaper knockoff versions. But I'd been burning through the cheaper versions like every couple of years. I had one from Wahoo. I had a couple from knockoffs from Fuzpo, some other Amazon alphabet soup brands. And so this was not cheap, but so far it seems to be worth it. It's rechargeable. So I don't know how long the battery's going to last. I mean, on a charge right now, the battery allegedly lasts 30 hours.
Okay.
But since I only pair it to my Garmin, I don't have a way to like see how much charge I'm using on a given run, for instance. Whereas I think with the Wahoo, I could pair it with an app on the phone. And I'm assuming I could do that with the Polar. I just haven't cared to. I could pair it to the phone and it would tell me like, what its battery percentage was. But so far it's good. I think it feels, and this is just a gut feeling, it feels more accurate to me than the cheaper version that I was using. The readings seem a little more consistent. And it's way more accurate than the wrist-based things. Even the Garmin, I know Apple is supposed to have the best wrist-based heart rate monitor, if you're using the sensor based in the Apple Watch. My results with the Garmin, I think are more realistic. Like going out for a light jog, especially when you get started. When I first start a running workout with no external heart rate, the Apple Watch sensor is just wildly inaccurate. Wildly freaking believably inaccurate. Like I'll start out with a warm up and it's like, yep, you're at 180 beats per minute. And I'm like, 180 steps per minute, maybe, but no, I am not having a heart attack right now, which is where I would be if I was actually at 180 beats per minute. The Garmin's like, yeah, you're at 125, which is where I would expect to be at a light jog, So anyway, the Polar Verity Sense optical heart rate sensor, it's Bluetooth. It works with all, your mainstream equipment and stuff, and it works great. And if you don't have an Apple Watch or a Garmin, watch or something, you can just use it with your phone and use an app like Strava to record your workout. So instead of, so you would use your step counter from the phone that you're using instead of on your wrist. Yeah. So far, Polar Verity Sense optical heart rate sensor, thumbs up, 2 thumbs up.
Cool.
So, and then when I'm out running, sometimes I like to see where I'm going. And especially when it's cold and, rainy outside. Well, rainy, maybe, I don't know. But when it's cold, my glasses tend to fog up because I wear a mask over my face. And so that's when sometimes I start to reconsider laser eye surgery. But lately I've just been putting in contact lenses.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, I have myopia and presbyopia and astigmatism. So, the big 3 of corrective vision issues. And as such, contacts don't always work great for that. They may correct 1 out of those 3 conditions. But recently I've had better luck with multifocal contact lenses. And it's weird. It's hard to describe how they work, but your eye sort of learns to look like not out of the corner of your eye, but in between, head on and peripheral vision, focus in on stuff. So you learn how to like read without zeroing in on something. But, so it's weird how they've, I don't know exactly how it's formulated, and I've tried these before with not very good results. And lately I've been having better results. I was able to wear a pair for about 8 hours. And, that included frequent looking at the computer, looking at the phone, looking at the watch, but not like sitting down to read a book or sitting down to write a novel at the computer or something.
Yeah.
So the Bausch & Lomb infused multifocal soft contact lenses seem to be a win. And
Cool.
so especially if I'm going to be gone for like a few hours, then I'll just slap those in, and then, I can run or bike or drive the car, and works pretty well.
Nice. I don't have any corrective lenses.
You're a lucky man. I don't know how you do it all these years working at the computer, especially too.
Well, I've always tried to make everything as big as possible so that I didn't strain.
Yep.
And I guess that worked out.
Yep. Well, good for you. I wish I'd thought of that 30, 40 years ago.
I do wear readers now, though. I can't.
Okay,
I can't.
That's corrective lenses, though.
Yeah. But I only wear them if I'm reading something small.
Hence the name.
But my Kindle, I read my Kindle. I don't wear glasses on it. But like when I'm reading if I'm reading or I've got my phone, I look at it. I don't really need it if I just, if you and I are texting or whatever. But if I'm going to read something on there, I'll pull out the read. Yeah. Peter sent me an email that's got stuff I need to read and understand. Okay, hang on.
Yep. And I have been using, so I bought this pair last year of, computer glasses, and they've got the blue blocker in there, so everything seems a little more yellow and stuff. I don't know if it is, scientifically proven yet or whatnot, but definitely they feel more comfortable. Right? My eyes feel less strained when I'm wearing them. So I'm thinking the next pair I get, maybe every pair I get, I'll just start slapping blue blockers, into them. Certainly for the computer, computer or reading glasses. Absolutely. So
cool.
Nifty. Oh, that's all I got.
Well, that's all I had too.
Wow. Should we wrap things up?
Yeah, we can wrap this one up.
Why don't we do that?
All right. And maybe our next episode we might have a guest.
Maybe, but no promises.
No promises.
Well, dear listener, if you want to get in touch with us or find the podcast because you've forgotten how you found us the first time, you can do so at blurringthelinespodcast.com. There you can find links to all of our back episodes. A lot of them have been on video for several years now, in addition to just audio. And Adam and I have been doing this for, what did we say, 10 years now?
10 years.
Doggy. Yeah, it's been a while. So you can find us there. You can also find Adam at rrlavenderfarm.com. You can find me at, I'll give you the shortcut because I like you today, listener, pn72.com. So you don't have to hurt yourself trying to spell Nikolaidis. And you can find us there, and you might find me infrequently on social media. You might find Adam sometimes on social media, I think, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, do it. Look for us. Send us some feedback. Ask us some questions. And then when you're done, just make sure you hit that big red button.
Well, that's weird. I'm gonna stop recording. I went to pn72.com the first time. Yeah. And